Hey, beautiful souls. It's Louise, creator of the Louise method, truth speaker, and bringer of light and information in these seemingly crazy times. If you've been feeling like everything's shifting lately, you're really not imagining it. And the energy on this planet is rising. And with that rise comes a lot of change, whether that be in our bodies, our emotions, and in the world around us. You might be noticing that big life events, endings, or challenges are showing up and wondering what on earth is happening. But here's the truth, these moments are not here to break you, they're here to awaken you. And in today's video, I'm going to share what's really happening in this rise of consciousness, how certain events act as catalysts for awakening, some of the symptoms you might be feeling right now, and how to navigate depending on where you are in your own journey. Since 2012, there's been various different waves of awakening across the planet, so each and every one of us is at a different stage in this journey. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's explore this together. So, the rise of consciousness as a collective, we're moving out of survival and separation and into awareness, unity, and truth. And this rise in consciousness isn't something that happens overnight. It's a gradual frequency shift happening both globally and within each of us. So, you might have felt it yourself, whether that's time speeding up, emotions bubbling to the surface for no reason, or suddenly feeling extra sensitive, whether it be to energy, food, or even the people around you. At this time, we're seeing a lot of old relationships falling away. You might not resonate with the same conversations or environments anymore, and that's okay. You're not losing yourself, you're recalibrating to a higher frequency, and the more healing that happens, the higher the frequency becomes. So think of it like your system upgrading its operating system. Your soul is aligning to who you were always meant to be. So we talked through some of these common awakening symptoms. So as your consciousness rises, your body, your mind, and your emotions, they all start to adjust. And that adjustment can feel pretty intense at times. It's completely normal to experience symptoms as your energy field's expanding. You might notice physical sensations like tingling, buzzing, or light pressure in your head and body. Many people report something called tinnitus, which they might go to the doctors for without explanation. And you might go through periods of exhaustion or feel waves of emotion that just seem to come out of nowhere. A big one is sleep patterns can change. So your body might crave lighter foods or suddenly reject what used to feel fine. And you might experience vivid dreams or even just need a little bit more quiet time than usual. Emotionally, the process can bring old memories or triggers to the surface, not to punish you, but to be released. And some days you might feel blissful and connected and full of love, and the next day you might feel numb or detached and just want to stay in bed all day. So mentally, you might find yourself questioning everything, whether that's your beliefs, your relationships, your purpose, and it's all part of the deconstruction of the old self. So spiritually, your intuition does start to strengthen. You might see repeated numbers, notice synchronicities, think of somebody and you bump into them or they ring you, or you'll feel guided to new teachers, places, or ways of healing. These are the signs that your energy body is realigning with your soul. So if things feel a little bit chaotic, the best thing to do is just breathe. My key phrase is "this too shall pass," and it always does. You're not breaking down, you're breaking open. And for me, another key phrase is after every breakdown, there's a breakthrough. So sending you lots of love if you're feeling this right now. The collective awakening timeline started in 2012 and it's due to end around about 2030, which is going to be entirely expanded by current world events. To really understand what's happening now, we need to just zoom out to see how the rise of consciousness has unfolded across the planet over the last decade and where we're heading next. So 2012 was the awakening gateway. This was the energetic reset point, the end of one cycle and the beginning of a new frequency on Earth. The Mayan calendar closed and humanity began receiving higher light codes. Many of you might well remember all of the stories around the world ending, and I guess it kind of did in its old fashion, but it's certainly been trying to birth a new one. And each and every one of us is responsible for our own journeys in that on that path. So for many, this was when spiritual curiosity really reignited. Meditation, energy work, astrology, quantum healing began moving from the fringes into the mainstream. Between 2016 and 2019 was the unraveling of multiple illusions. These years cracked open global truth. We witnessed political division, climate urgency, and mass movements like the Me Too and Black Lives Matter, calling humanity to rise into its shadows. So systems of control, gender imbalance, and general equality were really exposed throughout these years. And collectively, we began to see the mirror, that everything suppressed was surfacing to be healed. In 2020, we all were part of this global reset. The pandemic arrived, a forced pause for the planet, isolation, loss, and uncertainty stripped us of distractions and control. But beneath that fear, millions began to awaken in that year, and people were asking what actually mattered. Why am I here? Why am I giving my life to? And it was a collective dark night of the soul and the first breath of that new earth frequency. As we move through to 2021 to 2023, these become more of the integration years. So as the world reopened, life felt very, very different for everybody. There was mass resignations, career pivots, creative rebirths, and many people moving house. We saw the rise of AI, crypto, and decentralized innovation, reflections of humanity's desire for autonomy and truth. Many began choosing simplicity and nature and authenticity over status or survival. And this was a time of deep emotional clearing and energetic realignment. Between 2024 to 2026, which is where we are today, the rebuilding and the embodiment phase, we're living through this right now. And for many of us, we can feel it. The tension between the old and new systems, economies being unstable, political trust is collapsing, and climate extremes are reminding us of our unity within the earth. Wars in regions like Ukraine and the Middle East show the last expressions of power-based consciousness, while humanitarian movements and peace initiatives rise stronger than ever. Technology and spirituality are just beginning to merge. AI consciousness studies, sound healing, frequency medicine, and new education models are expanding rapidly. It's a time of both collapse and creation, a global purification before rebirth, and there's nothing to fear. Between 2027 and 2030, okay, so what's to come in the future? We're going to move into the golden template years. This is where we move from awakening into full embodiment. The old systems that relied on fear and hierarchy and they're just going to dissolve completely. Replaced by local, heart-centered structures. New earth leaders are going to emerge, and innovators guided by compassion and unity. For those of you worried about bringing children into this world, there's a major reassurance that children born in these years already carry the crystalline DNA patterns of pure frequency, advanced empathy, and deep remembrance. They're going to lead through vibration and not by control. So if life feels uncertain right now with the wars, the politics, the technology, and weather patterns all shifting, just remember this: it's not destruction, it's just a dismantling. And everything is aligned with truth, is being stripped away so that the light can rise. And you are part of this. You came here for this. So how to best navigate through the stages of awakening? Now that we've looked at how consciousness has been rising on the global planet, let's bring the closer to home and to you. And every awakening journey unfolds in stages. And while you're not always in linear, understanding where you can be can really help you through these with more ease. So stage one is the breakdown. And this moment, everything starts to fall apart. The job, the relationship, the identity, whatever no longer aligns with your soul begins to crumble. And it can feel like loss and chaos or even betrayal. But in truth, it's your soul saying no more pretending, no more shrinking, and no more living in old timelines. The key in this stage is to surrender. Don't try to fix or to force or to hold on. Allow what is collapsing to go, even if you don't quite understand it yet. And just say to yourself, I release what no longer serves me with love and gratitude, and that'll really help with the process. Stage two, the void. After that breakdown, there's complete silence in many. It's likened to the caterpillar that goes into the butterfly in the cocoon stage. And you might feel empty, lost, or disconnected. And that is the void, the sacred in between, where your old self is dissolved, but the new one hasn't quite yet fully anchored. You're not doing anything wrong. You're in the space of integration and rebalancing. And just focus on presence, grounding, and at this stage, lots of rest. This stage is about learning to be and not to do. And one of the key statement, I guess, that I could share would be, I trust the unfolding, even when I can't see the path. As you move from stage two, you move into stage three, which is the rebuilding. And then new inspiration begins to rise. You start to receive insights, new connections, and soul-led ideas. And this is where the creativity and intuition guide you to build a new life in alignment with your truth. Follow what feels light, follow what feels real. Let your heart lead one step at a time. And just say, I follow what aligns with my truth and my soul. Stage four is the embodiment. And this is the stage where peace begins to flow naturally. You're not chasing or searching anymore. You're just in a state of being. The first time I heard, are you a human doing or a human being? I actually laughed, but the depth of that human being is exactly what we're all working towards for the embodiment. You've integrated your lessons and aligned with your soul's rhythm. You might begin to magnetize opportunities, relationships, and experiences that now reflect your inner state of harmony. In embodiment, you become a living example of light, grounded, open-hearted, and at peace. And at this point, with confidence, you can say, I am the light I was searching for. So, wherever you are right now, whether that's breaking down, resting in the void, rebuilding, or embodying, you are exactly where you're meant to be. And the awakening process is not a race, it's a remembrance. And each stage of the process is sacred. So take what resonates, breathe it into your heart, and remember, you are not alone in this. We are all rising together. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do like, subscribe to the channel. It really does help me stay motivated in terms of the content that I create for you guys. But for now, sending you lots of love. Bye for now.